The main challenge, I think, is neo-colonialism, the new colonialism. White power in a black face. That's what neo-colonialism is now. White power in a black face. Obama, that's a picture, a classic picture of neo-colonialism. Goodluck Jonathan in Nigeria, classic picture of neo-colonialism. And the vast majority of the African leaders on the continent, the vast majority of them, those are classic pictures of neo-colonialism. Because what they support is still imperialist institutions' agendas, but they have a black face. So for example, when tomorrow the president of Nigeria maybe comes from the part of Nigeria I come from, you suddenly hear that I've become quiet. Afyong has become very quiet. Because the president is from her part of the country. And she can't be seen to be attacking him because she just might get a job tomorrow. And that's the other thing about us, you and I. We ourselves are traitors because our jobs, our stomachs define our politics. So we have to begin to rebuild independent institutions. And that starts with even basic things like our media. You must have your own people's media. The internet is available for that now. What is your challenge? What is your own skill? Where is your gift? Because like Marcus Garvey said, it says, rise up, you mighty race, for you can accomplish whatever you will. And that is true. Neo-colonialism, that's a major challenge in all its, masks. And that's the thing. Must learn to unmask and recognize neo-colonialism wherever we meet it, even when we see it in ourselves. And let me talk about culture for 1 minute. A lot of the Africans today are dressed, in suits and in European clothes. Now, on the one hand, somebody may say, well, that's a bit superficial. It is and it's not. If a blind person comes into a room, they need to know that there's an African in the room by how you look and dress and are. That is something, because it's about hair. For us as women, I'm sorry to say, it's also about our hair, because that's a major difference we have, with the men. Well, that's if they're not men who wear jerry curls. That's just an atrocity, but that's another thing. We have to challenge ourselves. These are difficult questions and difficult issues for us. And I'm happy to have a meeting, by ourselves. But there are many things we have to take on, to read our internal being of things before we're able to have the conviction to deal with the system itself. So the prospect is mobilizing and organizing ourselves in the movement against neo-colonialism, all forms of it, whether it's in government, society, in our schools. Look at what do we study at school. For example, on the continent, we don't study our own history. We are experts in European history, but we know nothing about ourselves. So even though we know our neo-colonial governments won't change that, we've got to change that. Develop Saturday schools for the children. Ethnicism. Ethnicism, tribalism is all the same thing. That's a major cancer that we suffer from. We've got to get rid of that. What's the alternative to that? Pan-Africanism. That's the alternative. But revolutionary Pan-Africanism. Because let me say this. There are a lot of people who call themselves Pan-Africanists and they're cultural nationalists and they're anti-racist. Like, a lot of people, a lot of blacks here, anti-racist. Are you anti-capitalist? Are you anti-imperialist? Most of you are not. You're anti-racist. You're very clear about that. But you're not anti-capitalist. You're not anti-imperialist. So what you only want is change it, from a white vessel and give me a black one and I'll be okay. That's all you're wanting, a change of skin color. You don't want to change the system that produces your oppression. Whether it's black, white, green, blue, or brown, it's about the system. And You must understand that. And don't be fooled when you see a black person holding up the system. He's even more dangerous than a white person. And do you know why he's more dangerous than a white person? Because if I see a white person holding up an exploitative system against me, it's very easy for me. I'm able to know. That's why our colonial struggles were able to go so clearly. Because we could see the enemy. And we knew that this is not your land. What are you doing here? You need to carry yourselves back to Europe. But when they went and they got replaced by their black versions, we were confused. That is neo-colonialism. And the black versions continued the exact system that their white counterparts left behind. You must understand that. Because if you allow that to confuse you, we will not be free. At the same time, I'm very clear also about white supremacy. And I make no apologies about that. That is the major cancer in the world today, white supremacy. We have to be clear also about that. But you also have to know that there are a lot of black people who facilitate and, support the engine of white supremacy. And of course, the solution to white supremacy is not black supremacy. Better be clear about that too. It's person supremacy, people supremacy.